Round 3 of the Le Mans Endurance Series here at Silverstone. I almost said American Le Mans Series because that's the last time we had top-class sports cars here at Silverstone. The prototypes come round as the safety cars in the pit lane. Robbie Kerr has got to bring them around, and it's a good start by the roll centre car back from road number 4 as they go down towards Copse for the first time. And I think the Zytek has held on to the lead from the start. Yes, Robbie Kerr has got the jump, and it looks like a pretty clear start and clean start. And look at that, he's got the start all right, Marino Franchitti. He's really got away. Fantastic job by Robbie. I don't think he's done many rolling starts before, but he certainly seems to have taken to them like a duck to water. Tommy Erdos in the RML MG. Big hopes for this car, talking to the team beforehand. Tommy putting in a storming performance in the very inclement conditions at Germany in the last round of the Nürburgring, and Phil Barker using all his experience to make sure that that car was on the right tyres all the time, and already that car going very nicely indeed at the head of the field. But it's the pole sitter, Robbie Kerr, who leads out the two semi-works Audis, the two UK Audis, and there's the team go-car battling with the Creation Autosport Leaf machine, the number 69 car, just holding them off at the moment. That's the team Jota Zytek, in fact. John Stack, Sam Hignett and Gianni Collini in that car as they come back up to complete the first lap, and it looks as though it is Dindo in the... yeah, it's Dindo starting. Yeah, as the headlights come back towards us through bridge and into the complex. This is the place where the Audis have been suffering. The faster corners, not a problem for the Audi R8s, but through the slower corners they have really struggled for front end grip, and that is where the pole time went away from them. The Zytek, the work Zytek with Chris Dyson and Robbie Kerr at the wheel at the moment. Robbie Kerr goes across the line, and that's where they've found their time as they go across the line to complete lap 1 of 195. 1.8 seconds, so the same sort of gap that we saw in qualifying from the rolling start, really underlining the performance of that Zytek. Fantastic opening lap there. Doesn't seem to have been a huge amount of movement on the opening lap. Nobody really making huge amounts of time or space up. Trying to look back to see who's leading the GT class here. Looks like Dindo desperate to get past Sam Hignett here in the Jota Zytek. The Jota Zytek's moved from Dunlop tyres to Michelin tyres for this weekend, and that seems to have found them a little bit more pace. For whatever reason they've changed. I'm not sure what deal they have, but they've changed from the Dunlops to the Michelins, and it seems to certainly be helping them at the moment. Coming inside there, that's Dindo Capello, and he's made the position as they go on the far side of the circuit through the Valen Club, and coming back towards us now, up towards Abbey. And the short farm stream coming up, so just coming out of Club Corner there, Dindo being able to use the slightly better grip, I think, and held a tighter line, or was it just pure grunt there, Marino? Probably the torque of the Audi engine would help there. The Jota car is certainly not on the same development as the work Zytek. They have a little bit more aerodynamic and a little bit more power than the Jota car. The Manassian car is quite a bit different, I believe, than the leading Zytek. Manassian's carrying probably about 65 kilos more. Obviously it's a different chassis being the DBA, but Zytek have managed to take some weight out on the new car and find some power, so Nicholas is really doing a fantastic job in the Creation Sportive car. At the head of the field, the gap is now 3 seconds between Kerr in the lead for that number 22, the black machine. Here's the pass again. Dindo just turning in a little bit tighter in that right-hander as they came out of Club and up towards Abbey. And as you say, the grunt doing the rest. Yeah, it was a fantastic move by Dindo. I was talking to him this morning, and he's finding his way back around this track. It helped him through the Beckett's complex because he was struggling a little bit, and he just hadn't been here for so long and hadn't done a lot of running that year that he was, as I say, finding it a little difficult to get around there, but he's doing a fantastic job now. Well, there's a kind of an Audi-like look to the gap at the head of the field, but it is a Zytek, the black machine, with Robbie Kerr at the wheel. Robbie drafted in, had a great test at Snetterton last week, and eclipsed the best time ever put in there by Bentley, and that was their test track and their home track. So the potential of this Zytek machine is certainly coming to fruition now with himself and Chris Dyson, who has no need to prove his worth after the drive at
Portland a couple of races ago in the American Le Mans Series, another series, top class sports car series, of course, that you can see here on Motors TV. And the next round will be from Road America next weekend. That's the Auto Palace Ferrari 360 in the pit lane, the 97 car. Steve Heiss and Giovanni Lavaggi, the drivers, and that is very bad news this early on.
Yeah, to have a problem this early is really going to hurt them, but being a long race, if they can get the car back on the track, then perhaps they can make up a few positions and get some points.
Well, Giovanni Lavaggi sitting rather stoically in the car at the moment. Look to the heavens for some kind of support there, not coming for him. That's Robbie Kerr, who leads this race by now over 3 seconds. Hugely impressed by the start from the young man. First time in a sports car in a competitive trim. Second place, Jamie Davies starting the 88 car. Third place, Pierre Caffer in the number 8 Audi UK machine. Then Nick Manassian in 4th. Dindo Capello up to 5th position in the number 5, the team Audi, the Team Japan Audi, the Gold car. And then Sam Hignett in the 69. João Barbosa in the Roll Centre car, got a good start and consolidates 7th position. Justin Keane in the Lister in 20th. Tommy in 8th rather, in the number 20 car. Tommy Erdos in 9th for RML. Jean-Marc Gounon, the first of the LMP2 cars, 10th position overall. And if we look down for the leading GTS car, Uwe Alsen, who's taking the lead there in the Vitaphone Celine, ahead of Christophe Bouchou in the Labre competition Ferrari, of course. And as far as the GT classes go, Sasha Masson leads in the 93 Freisinger car, Certec car, sorry, and the car that he shares with Adam Jones. So the Paul Sitter doing well. So the change there in GTS, of course, where the Uwe Alsen and Michael Bartel's car has got first position away from the Labre competition 550. Alsen and Bouchou have been very impressive. Here's the start again, and pretty clean at the start of the race, Marino. Nobody could really have too many worries about what happened there.
No, it was Robbie got them lined up very well, and he got the jump. I was very impressed with that because I expected the torque of the Audi to take them past Robbie, but it didn't happen.
That's the Race Sport Salisbury machine, the TVR Tuscan, John Hartshaw, Graham Mundy and Richard Stanton sharing that car. And it's Richard Stanton at the wheel. He's about to go, in fact already has gone before I got the thought finished, gone a lap down as we're on lap number 5 of 195 here at Silverstone. It's Le Mans Endurance, 3rd round of the series for 2004. John Hindhaugh and Marino Franchitti joining a packed house here at Silverstone, the current home of the British Grand Prix, a super venue for sports cars. But interestingly enough, talking to Pierre Caffer, and here is Pierre Caffer in the number 8 car at a Club de Pilotes at the BRDC luncheon today. He's just getting that a little bit leery coming through the Brooklands and Luffield complex, out onto the start-finish line. He was saying it's not that easy to pass around here, even though it's big and it's wide. Quite often, some of the slower cars tend to be so excited and so happy about being on a big wide circuit, they're not really looking at their mirrors, and it means you can come at the slow cars from a variety of angles.
The biggest problem here is the closing speed is a lot higher than at circuits we've seen before this year. Monza, because of the heavy braking, it actually is easier to pass GT cars. Nürburgring, it's a lot of tight corners. Again, it's easy under braking for the GT cars here, the prototypes, to get past the GT and GTS cars. The problem is you look in your mirror at Silverstone, and what would be an okay gap to turn into the apex, suddenly there's a prototype there, and there's been a lot of contact in the practice sessions prior to the race.
Exactly what happened to Jamie Davis this morning in warm-up when he did exactly that going into the Beckett's complex, got up the inside of the Graham Nash Celine, which I think had Paul White at the wheel at the time, and Paul concentrating so hard on getting the car through the corner on the right line, all of a sudden turns in and finds Jamie there, and they were both speared off for a moment.
I think that was last night.
Was it last night?
Yes,
the
final qualifying. I know that Caffer's had an issue with Ortelli also in practice in final qualifying last night, but it's just a case of everybody retuning themselves, and as the race comes on, I think you'll find that people settle down into more of a rhythm.
coming through bridge and round into the complex again at the stadium area. You can see that there's plenty of spectators enjoying this one, and that is João Barbosa, the young Portuguese driver, with Justin Keane in the red and white Lister right up his tailpipes. And this is the battle for 6th position. Patrick Pearce sharing with Martin Short and João Barbosa, the two constants in that car this weekend. Rob Barth, who was driving earlier on in the season, he has got to drive this weekend, and we'll see him a little bit later on, I'm sure. As that battle is already through the midfield of the GT runners, and it looks to me as though King got a better run there. Coming out of Copse, he goes to the right-hand side. He's not going to make a pass from there, going into Beckett's this time. They are very, very quick through here indeed. The downforce working well, and it's a great place to spectate as well, inside or outside. 1 or 2 cars pulled up on the outside, but very impressed with the roll centre car through there. Took a lot of speed through the middle part of the Beckett's complex.
He really did. Justin looked fantastic on the entry. The problem is Justin's losing downforce as he's getting closer, so it makes the roll centre car look even better than it is, because the moment he's getting close through a fast complex like the Beckett's complex, he's losing downforce and the tyres start to overheat. So he's either going to have to make a move, or he'll fall back as the car moves about, as the aerodynamic effect is off the car. It relies on the mechanical grip, puts more strain on the tyres, and you find, as I say, you find yourself overheating tyres and going backwards. Both sides of a GT car there. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Bad news for Robin Liddell. He's looped the number 90 T2 racing machine, T2M Motorsport machine at Brooklands, but he has continued. He had a horrible start to the Nürburgring race as well, but fought back well throughout the afternoon, and he has unfortunately been in the same problems early on. This is the battle for 6th position in the 3rd round of the Le Mans Endurance Series for 2004. Justin Keane in the red and white Lister. Great to see that car back out and being competitive against the Roll Centre Dallara as they complete lap number 7 rather, of 195. Robbie Kerr leads by 6.1 seconds in the 3rd round of the LMES here at Silverstone, live on Motors TV. There is the leader then. He continues to put in a very impressive performance. If you're just joining us here at the Le Mans Endurance Series, oh, well, there's bad news in the pit lane. We'll talk about Robbie Kerr, the head of the field, for the moment, but that's the UCOS-sponsored car, Ortelli and Collards. We saw that car come in. We thought it wasn't going to be just something that looked routine, perhaps a clutch problem. He went back out again, but he's back into pit lane, and again, the front end of the car receiving some, well, quite a lot of attention there. The driver motioning from inside. Is that Stefan Ortelli that's in the car now? Yeah, they put Stefan in there at the first stop. He's talking to Reiner there from Porsche, telling him what the problem is. Back to the leader here, but if they could get me a look in the front of the car, I'll size up the problem for you. Well, we'll get our RF cameras in the pit lane down to stick the camera around the front there. I'm sure that the guys in the team don't really want to be bothered just at the moment. Robbie's doing a fantastic job here. Very impressed. Really, he's working the traffic well. I was at Snetterton when he was testing, and he looked very impressive. But it's one thing to do times on your own, but it's a different thing to do it in traffic. But he's doing a fantastic job. He seems to be able to pretty much control his own pace. I mean, obviously he's getting his pit boards. Obviously, he's probably in radio contact as well. Some drivers don't like to be talked to an awful lot on the radio. Some guys don't mind it so much. But he seems to just be. I mean, they've dropped down into the 39s now. Kaffer has started to speed up, and that's obviously a message that's got through to Robbie. His lead came down to just over 4 seconds. It's back out to 5.6. Both him and Kaffer doing 39.5 in race trim, and you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you? You'd be very happy. Robbie gets the times every time he goes across the line on his PI display on the dash, on the steering wheel, and he knows exactly what he's doing. And he gets the gap from the team, so he knows what he has to do. The funny thing is, he's been in the sports car for only however long we've been racing now, about sort of 45 minutes, and he's found the button already, the best button in the car, which switches off and on the lights in the front. It cuts the power to them. It's the best button ever invented. Yeah,
that gives the
flashers is just fantastic.
That it gives the guys he's coming up on the opportunity to go, oh hell, someone's coming up behind me. As the leader, of course, it's always the most difficult thing because you're the guy who comes on the traffic first, and it's always yours to lose and the other guys to gain. Very, very easy to be too aggressive as the leader and really lose a lot of time.
Certainly in the early stages, but as I said before, the closing speeds are higher here. People have to recalibrate their minds to when they see a prototype in the mirror to when it's going to be inside them. But once they get into that, there's cars coming at them from all angles.
Quick shot of John Wickham there, nearest the camera on the pit wall. John, one of the masterminds, along with Richard Lloyd, of the Bentley victories at Le Mans.
I'm sure I just heard the Nasomax car in the pits. I just heard a Judd V10 firing down the pit lane, so and they're very close to us.
Let's see if we can see if he has in fact come into the pit lane. Quick lean out and look down. We're right next to the podium here at Silverstone. And
yeah, it says on the screen pit. Yep.
Yeah. So the
Barbosa's in also.
And Barbosa in from 9th position. That's the number 6 car. There it is. And well, that looked fairly routine, didn't it?
Yeah, I think we're just getting close to the fuel window, and maybe they're sitting in traffic, so they're trying to, instead of waste time running behind somebody, they maybe find a little bit of free air. Expect the Audi cars to be in round about lap 32. Whoever's in second, or the second car at the moment is the Davies car. That will be in first.
So the worst running of the two cars will be brought in first, yeah?
Yeah, and then it maximises the fuel window for the car that's in front. The Zytec in general has been a lap short of what the Audis can do. So it'll be interesting to see if along with the power, others like to maybe find a little more fuel economy. That Celine is so hard to see at the back of.
David Leslie, who has as much, if not more, sports car experience as any in that Graham Nash Celine this weekend, along with former touring car teammate at Proton, Phil Bennett. And those two guys renewing their working relationship, along with Paul White in that car. And David Leslie loving it, being back in top quality sports car racing. Had a little spell in touring cars in the States. Oh dear. That is the
well, I can see
Mike Jordan
both,
car.
I can see both drivers standing beside the car, and that is never a good sign.
Johnny Molam started that car, and I literally spoke to him 20 minutes before he got in the car. There he is. Let's have a quick word with him.
Johnny Molam, the 71 Porsche, is back to the garage. Is it a problem, a clutch problem?
Yeah, I mean, the car was going very, very well, really good balance. I was just like starting to take the corners, a gear up a couple of places, just holding on to Patrick Long and the Farnbacher car, and the car was lovely, really, really well balanced. And suddenly, with no warning, the clutch slipped coming out of Priory. I just accelerated and it started slipping. So I short shifted a couple of times, it was no better. So I did one slow lap, came in, they bled the clutch, Mike went out to see if we know it's the clutch is burnt out. We're not sure why. The clutch bite's very high up on this car, so maybe it was slipping slightly. So unfortunately, we might try and change the clutch and go back out, but it's a very big shame because we were running in the top 3 or 4, and a podium was a good possibility for us. So.
I understand. Thank you, Johnny.
Johnny Molam understandably upset as the GTS leaders come in. Johnny will be back in one of these cars next weekend, the Asemco version in the American Le Mans Series at Road America, a race that both Marino and myself will be at, doing different duties. You've got to drive next weekend?
Not at the moment, but I'm working hard on it as always.
Uwe Alton was at the wheel of that car and shares with Michael Bartels and Franz Conrad. I think they have done a driver change.
It looked to me, if Uwe started, then it looks to me like Franz was just there helping with the driver change more than anything.
New rubber, new Pirelli rubber for the Conrad Run Vitaphone Celine. This car has consistently been the quickest Celine that we have seen, and certainly it's been the most reliable Celine that we have seen either in FIA or in major sports car events, certainly since the RML cars disappeared from the... You
can see the Zytec team ready there. You can see John with the board.
John Wickham taking hands-on control. That's the Palmere with the elephant logos on. And I'm not an engineer, but that doesn't look good.
it looks like he's got the brakes really hot on the way in. Just looks like a normal pit stop. He's certainly cooked the brakes on the way into the pits.
And the Palme is sitting there. One of the more adventurous paid
Xavier,
jobs.
that's a bit of a lock-up, mate.
Now, Xavier Pompidou in the number 80 Vodka Kick sponsored car.
Saying that, actually, good job, Xavier, because those tyres are about to get binned and changed, so
you might
very good. He's maximised the braking area into the pit lane.
Xavier sharing with Piers Maserati this weekend. He was out at Mosport in the American Le Mans Series. We're seeing quite a lot of crossover, lots of frequent flyer miles being clocked up by all of these drivers. Let's get down into the pit lane.
Emmanuel Collat, it seems to be a very difficult race for Porsche with the Freisinger Porsche, your car, which is top. Why?
Because we had a power steering problem. We broke the system, so we try to repair it and restart now, so it should be okay now.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel.
Very unhappy, Emmanuel. I don't fancy...
Okay, it wasn't the clutch, I was wrong.
Yeah, but it's all the reservoirs are at the same place.
Zytek
There's the
in the
Zytek.
pits.
This is the leader. And Robbie looks like he's saying, no, I'm happy to stay in the car. So Chris Dyson is ready in the background. You can see the guy in the blue overalls, quite the tall chap, standing there in the background. They're looking at brakes, they're looking at tyres. This is going to be fuel only, you know, Marino, and they're going to get straight back out there. And this might be tactically very, very good indeed. Let's see what happens when the Audi comes in. You called it. You said 32 for the Audis and 31, and that's exactly where we've come in. 30 laps completed.
That's a lap earlier than I thought that Robbie would be in, but they're maybe just playing it safe on the first stop.
Where are the Audis? They're in the same part of the pit. Well, that's one of the Audis in and out, and they've beaten them out. So that was, I think, the Davies car. It was indeed the Davies car that came into the pit lane at the same time. So first and third came in together after 30 laps, and to me, didn't get the shot going out there, but it looks to me as if the lead changed in along pit lane. So 30 laps in at 14:55, for those of you who were taking notes, is when those two cars came in. And I think that we'll have to see when they come round again, watching the diesel at the moment, but when they come round again, first of all, Pierre Caffer will be leading for a moment as he comes down along pit lane, presumably, and there he is right in front of us. Do you know, if we stand up here a bit more, we'll be able to see who comes in the pit lane. I think we'll do that a bit more often. So,
Is that, if I'm looking at this right, it looks to me like Caffer's done an in-lap that was 4 seconds quicker than what Kerr did and 6 seconds quicker than Davies, but
correct.
if that's possible, that's very impressive.
Yeah, that is absolutely
So
right.
1 minute 50 for Robbie Kerr, and I thought it was very impressive. A 1:52 for Jamie Davies, but Caffer's done a 46.3. So
Dindo Capella will come round and inherit the lead because he hasn't stopped in that Team Go Audi. He has done so and is in the lead. And Kerr and Davies, who will go through in what is effectively the lead position. There goes the number 6 machine of João Barbosa. And of course our timing and scoring screen has chosen this moment just to lock up for a second and leave us completely in the dark as we wait for the erstwhile leader, the number 22 car. There he goes. Robbie Kerr goes across the line. He's gone across before Jamie Davies, so he did just get out before that Audi in second place. Now, where is Jamie? He's gone through. He's about 3 seconds further back down the road, so the outlaps have been absolutely desperately important, and it looks as though going out there, I thought it was going to be closer than it was, Marino, because we saw Robbie Kerr still stationary as we looked up the pit lane, and the Audi was rolling, but Robbie Kerr's had a great outlap, and we now wait for the two cars, the Caffer and Capello Audis, to come into pit lane, and that should leave Robbie Kerr back at the head of the field. Well, we speculated whether they would change drivers, and they did not.
caught me out there, I have to say.
So there is Davies. He stayed in. David Leslie brings the Graham Nash Motorsport Celine in along the pit lane, rumbling in front of us.
Looking at the first sectors of the lap, looks like Caffer's in the lead.
Caffer's in the lead, but hasn't stopped. Don't forget, he owes us a pit stop. No, he has stopped, so he is in fact the leader here at Silverstone. third round of the Le Mans Endurance Series, live on Motors TV from Silverstone, 1000K or 6 hours. Tommy Erdos comes in from 6th position in the RML MG. But the big news is at the top of the timing and scoring screen, just off to our left. Really a bit of confusion in the commentary box because we were watching all kinds of things out there and trying to make some predictions. We saw the DBA, the Zytek car come in, the Zytek engineering car. Robbie Kerr stayed at the wheel and went out again. He got out in front of his nearest rival, Jamie Davies, who was running in second place who was running in third place at the time. They came in together, and we thought status quo would be retained when they came around. However, Marino, that wasn't the case.
No, Kaffer has done a blinder of an in-lap, made up a huge amount of time. The other two have caught traffic, bad traffic on their out-laps. There you go, he came out 7 seconds in front. Great job by him and the Audi UK Velox team. But looking at the first couple of laps, Robbie's got it down to about 4 or 5 seconds already, just a little bit of traffic, but it'll be interesting to see how the cars handle with the full load of fuel on the same used tyres.
Yeah, we're pretty certain that nobody took rubber in those early stops. Certainly it didn't seem as though the Zytek did. I can't imagine that the Audis have managed to hold their position or better their position whilst changing tyres. Danny Sullivan out of the 61 Baron Connor car. This car, well, sort of a factory entry from the Baron Connor machines.
The 61 car here has got all of the new aerodynamic updates on it. It's the Evolution, I'm calling it. It's worth about 4/10 a lap, they reckon. It's been tried and tested by Salo at Spa, and it's really working very well. These guys haven't tested with it. It's a bit of an unknown, but they're very happy, the team, with the new updates just on this car only.
And there again, problems for the 28 Ranieri Rendaccio. Still don't know why their team manager was called to task in the pit lane, but that looks like it is going to go back out again. The Ford engine, Tampoli chassis. Tampoli, stalwart of European sports car racing, the old FIA sports car days. And that looks like a fuel. Start it up and get it out, mate. Off you go. When you're ready, no problem. It's not good, is it? Not good at all. And that is failing to ignite. Meantime, that is the Graham Nash Saleen. David Leslie came in and handed over to Phil Bennett, his former touring car colleague, as the Paul Belmondo car just rattles in along pit lane, and I don't mean that in any way detrimentally. 5 hours is up the pit lane speed limit. 5 hours to run exactly here at Silverstone. Lap 35 of 195 to go. And there is Phil Bennett, fabulous Phil Bennett, and there is his teammate.
With David Leslie. David, you have finished your first stint. This is the home race for the Graham Nash Motorsport. How is the situation for you? How is the car?
The car is very good. It's everything that we thought it would be in the first stint. The fuel consumption was very good. We actually came in early. We didn't need to come in that early. The car's handling well. I broke a mirror, but they've already replaced that, so it's looking very good at this moment in time.
David, you have a great experience of endurance races. What is your feeling about the Le Mans Endurance Series?
I think it's fantastic. Having done Le Mans 10 times, to do this 6-hour race is absolutely fantastic for me, especially home of motorsport in Britain at Silverstone. Very happy indeed.
Very happy. Thank you very much, David.
David Leslie, part of the RML team that designed and built the Saleen S7R. In fact, I've got a feeling that he was the first man to ever drive the S7R when it was in the prototype stages, and that was here on the Stowe circuit, the tiny little circuit in the middle of the Grand Prix lap here at Silverstone. And I'm pretty certain it was either him, I think it was him who drove it, casting my mind back to that afternoon.
Second place in P2.
That was the bid and gone, yeah. There's the K2 car. Now this is a great group of lads into the Le Mans Endurance Series for the first time.
Simon pulling at the wheel there, I would say.
Yeah, Ben Devlin and Simon Pullen will be doing most of the race. I don't think Paul Owen will be getting behind the wheel this weekend. He's busy trying to pull the team together, which we've had a visit.
Well, he lost the wheel in warm-up this morning, so he has been.
He's been in the car.
He has been in the car because he came into pit lane with 3 wheels wagon. So
that was a bit of a baptism of fire for him.
Yeah, I don't think it was the most enjoyable thing, but these guys, beautifully prepped car. The Judd engine is very strong, so
Sounds marvellous as well.
it certainly does. I think once they get into their stride, they'll be up with the other garages.
Aiming for Le Mans, and that car has already been to Le Mans. That chassis was the Rowan racing car, yeah. Being converted to run the Judd 3.4 litre engine, so he added some homework as well. And these guys, among many in the pit lane who are eyeing the American Le Mans Series this weekend. Tim Mayer, the Chief Operating Officer from IMSA and LMS, has been here for all 3 days and paying visits along the pit lane.
Now, it's interesting to see that Hezemans is getting in the car there. He's had really, really bad flu, and they weren't sure if he was going to get in the car, but it looks like he's going to go out and have a go. 62
car is the second of the Baron Connor machines, identifiable by the white mirrors and white sun strip on the car. If you get a glimpse of that around the circuit, I'll undoubtedly forget that by the next time we see it and confuse it with the 61 car.
Oh, Robbie's caught right up with Kaffer, only 4 tenths between them this lap.
Yeah, he is really taking time. Last time he did a 40.4 as against Pierre Caffer's 41.1. This is mega, and this is the battle for the lead. And once again, sports car racing is delivering the best here on Motors TV from Silverstone. We are 38 laps, on lap 38 of 195, and again, the temperature just goes up a notch or two here in the commentary booth, overlooking start-finish line. And I can tell you that that's making things quite uncomfortable without any air conditioning. But we're getting excited about this, onto the edge of our seats. In fact, I'm on my feet again as they go down the Vale, and there's the K2 car. Simon Pullen trying to go by the Vodka Kick car. That was Xavier Pompidou earlier on. It might be Piers in it now. And once again, it's one either side. And once again, Kaffer pulls it off. Does he? Oh, he's just touched him and pushed Robbie Kerr out. And I think that's... Oh, yeah, he's done it.
He's done it. The thing I was about to say is Zytek have actually been in front on the speed traps all weekend ahead of the 2 Velox cars.
Here's Alan Mcnish.
Alan, you haven't seen the picture, but the 22 Zytek has overtaken the number 8 Audi, your car. What's your feeling about the situation?
Well, unfortunately that's the case. I haven't seen it on television, but we know they're quick. The one thing is clear, that they've not been so dominant like they were in qualifying. And to be honest, I think with the rest of the race, from our side, we're pretty strong. It just depends how strong they are.
This is the Le Mans Endurance Series with terrific races, exceptional.
Well, if we remember back to the first race, and then also in Nürburgring, we had a lot of wheel-to-wheel dices for the lead right to the last lap of the race. So I don't expect this one to be finished just yet.
Race is going on. Thank you very much, Alan.
Alan Mcnish going back to his normal role of being interviewed in the pits. Last time he was at Silverstone, he did the interviewing for ITV Sport.
Robbie's gone. I mean, this car just looks fantastic on full tanks. As the fuel level comes down, the car seems to even out a little bit more, but on full tanks, he's just ballistic.
That's going to make the end of the race very interesting if we've still got these cars in this kind of order. I've just pulled my seat up again and settled down as Robbie Kerr goes through traffic. Kerr now leads by 1.1 seconds, probably a little bit more than that now as we're halfway around the 39th lap here at Silverstone. In second position, Pierre Caffer. In third is still Jamie Davies. Nick Manassian up into fourth position, so that's a change through the pit stop cycle as well. No, it's not, I apologise, he was there beforehand because the 5 car is still fifth position. In sixth, Sam Hignett at the wheel of the number 69 Team Jota Zytek that he shares with Gianni Collini and John Stack. And in seventh place, the Lister Storm, Justin Keane, still shown as behind the wheel of that, and we would say that that was the case.
I'd say there's obviously been a bit of contact maybe with somebody, with Simon. He seems to be unhappy with something at the front of the car, and
I wonder if that was when the leaders came by. He was having a cracking scrap that he was in fact trying to get round. I think it was Piers Maserati in the Seba Automotive machine. Oh, 34, yeah, that's he's coming to answer what the Americans call the hamburger flag. Black and orange. That means that the stewards of the meeting have seen something they don't like on the car, and you must report the pit lane to have it sorted out. It could be a loose piece of bodywork. Could be they've got no lights. I'm not sure if I saw the lights illuminated on that car prior to that car coming in. But whatever, the team have been called to task for it. Meantime, Robbie Kerr will be absolutely loving this as he is disappearing in the distance by around about 6 or 7 tenths. That wasn't part of the plan. Big lock up by one of the cars in front of the leader.
T2M car, I believe, there.
Yeah,
They have an interesting manual sequential box. It still has the normal system, but it has some Japanese ingenuity, which means that it's just like a sequential shift for the driver, but it's still an each pattern box in the middle. Yeah, haven't seen it, but Robin says it's pretty good.
So they're not using the Porsche sequential box. They've done a clever fix and basically replaced the H pattern lever with a sequential lever.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Very impressive. Very impressive indeed. Meantime, let's have a look at the leader coming last time up upon the. No, there's definitely some.
That's a bit of debris there. It looks like one of the braking markers was in the middle of the track there.
That's the John Ingram, John Gore, and Rick Pearson track sport car. This is their they couldn't be any more local for these guys. They're just literally down the road from Silverstone, and there was no touch there between them and the leader. A bit of debris from earlier on. Scotland apparently now being held out for the Creation Autosport Eve car. Well, there is a story. That is the 4th position car, and right in front of us, that is being held out by the marshals.
2 minutes stop and go. It must be some kind of huge.
Well, I wonder if they haven't answered a black flag. Yeah. 2 minutes stop and go is going to drop them a lap and a bit. Probably a lap and a half by the time they've been in and out of the pit lane. That is a disaster for Nick Manassian and for that team.
He's a fantastic guy, Nick, but he certainly does have a fiery temperament.
It's not going to be helped by that.
Getting a bit excited there, as you would, having a 2 minutes.
No idea at all why the officials have called that, and I can't quite catch the attention of the people on the pit wall to get them to give me some kind of charade. Okay. In comes the Chiroc 77 Porsche. And those guys, the Japanese team, have been going very nicely indeed. Nishiwaza at the wheel of that car. We are 40 laps in, still around about 5 hours of racing to go from Silverstone. Watching Sejiara in 5th position in the number 5 car, certain sense of symmetry here at Silverstone for the Le Mans Endurance Series 3rd round. We have got a problem with the 27 track sport car, which has come into, or is going to be asked to come back into the pit lane. It's just been in to answer a mechanical problem flag. We have got a maximum of 3 hours and 47 minutes to go. Lap 77 of 195, and we're pretty confident that unless there's some kind of major incident or the weather takes a hand, that this one will run to 195 laps. Sitting just off to my right, alongside me, John Hindhaugh, is Marino Franchitti. Alan Mcnish leads the race by 47.5 seconds.
And he's just put Mr. Ara down 2 laps.
That is a very important point. He's coming up to the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th, and already Sejiara Arasan down 2 laps. He's going to come up to Chris Dyson next. Now, what does Chris Dyson do? How much dare he fight him off?
I think he'll have a choice. Just looking at the screen, if the viewers can see just off the racing line, the chunks of rubber that are coming off these cars is unbelievable. Tyre degradation, the Michelin guys reckon that tyre degradation would be a big issue here. It's very hard on the tyres. You can see them there, just offline. Also, it makes overtaking more difficult because if you have to go out onto that, the hot, sticky tyre picks up that debris, and you have vibrations like you couldn't believe, like you have a puncture for about half a lap until it cleans off. So it's very difficult for the prototype drivers and the GT guys if they get offline.
We've seen in the past as well, Marino, that the louvres on the top of the wheel arches there on the Audis and indeed the other prototypes car get absolutely mashed when these big balls of rubber. And down the hanger straight here, look off to the right hand side as we track down with Alan Mcnish's car, and you will see bits of rubber all over the track. There you can see it quite clearly, and they're not small, are they? They're quite large and substantial, and you don't want to be hit by one of them because that is going to hurt.
It can, if one of them gets thrown up by another car, if it doesn't quite stick to the tyre, and it's shot out like a bullet, and it goes through the mesh cover over the radiator, and it can cause problems with not only choking off the air but actually damaging the radiator. If one of those hits you in the head in an open top car, it's unbelievable.
Well, here is that battle we were talking about. That the number 7 car has Tommy Erdos has got out of that car now. It's Miguel Ramos, the Portuguese driver, and there is Chris Dyson trying to, in fact, put a lap on him and stay ahead of Mcnish, who dives up the inside through the complex and gets through. Well, Mcnish is on a mission. Nishi, man, you're 50 seconds ahead, boy. Easy, easy, Tiger.
I think every second that you can make up, if there's any kind of problem later in the race, you want to be obviously as far ahead as you can, but it's...
Oh, the Zytek going into pit lane. Chris Dyson just diving into the pit lane there. He will come in front of us any second now. Looking off to my right. I'm pretty certain he came in. I saw the black car. It's taken him a long time. Here's the 27 machine in front of him. There he is. Yeah, the track sport car coming in to answer its black and orange flag. And Chris Dyson is in the pit lane. Now, from our position on this side of the track, unfortunately, we can't see the pit stops unless we get them on the screen. Stress once again, as always we do with these transmissions, that delighted to bring them to you, but remind you that Motors TV aren't in control here. And there's some of that debris being thrown about by Miguel Ramos in the RML MG.
The first time that you get pick up on a tyre, I came into the pits and went, guys, have we got a puncture or something's broken?
Something's fallen off.
Just drive fast and take the rubber off. Okay. So you feel a bit of an idiot, but it's something that you learn through experience.
Well, cars like the Audi, of course, with the pressure detectors on those cars, they can, at least if somebody says, oh, I've got a vibration, I think I've got a puncture, the guys can give you an answer pretty much straight away.
Yeah, it's something as a driver I feel should be mandatory in all classes, because it's such a big thing. Not only can it save safety thing for drivers, but it's also for the teams. If they can see that that's going down, they can call you in and causes less debris around the track. It's good all round for everybody, as far as I'm concerned.
A lot of new cars getting it on, even on road cars, certainly, and it's just a little mounting that goes on the inside of the rim. It's a tiny wee thing that just transmits to a sensor inside the car. Very clever technology, and certainly would save a lot of hassle. The Audi guys have been able to give great feedback to their drivers in the past when they've said, oh, I think got a puncture. No, you're fine, we're watching it.
We're looking at Miguel Ramos here. He's really off the pace of what Tommy was doing. Tommy was about 9 seconds a lap quicker than what he's doing, and he's not usually that far from Tommy. Okay, he's a little bit off, but he looks to be just cruising round. He doesn't even...
In fact, he's getting very slow now.
Yeah, something's wrong.
That's a great spot. The G-Force car, the P2 car coming by, and Marino jumped up there as he went across the line as he saw that time and thought, hello, there's something not right here, and he's absolutely right. This car, again, you can see trimmed right out. Just look how low that rear wing is, barely cutting into the air at all. And that car, well, there'll be a scramble now for Phil Barkers and the boys from Wellingborough, just down the road.
The lap before, even before that, was slow, so there's definitely some problem there. What's a bit of turbo smoke there?
Yes, didn't like the turbo smoke. Meanwhile, the Steve Zakia in the 86 machine is leading GTS, as in comes the Lister just underneath us, rumbling by as he went by. And I've also noticed that Franz Conrad has managed to get the Alson car back into second place.
Looks like we've got a big change in GT here. The GMB car with Dowdy at the wheel, the number 70 car has moved into the lead. Our previous leader, Adam Jones, is back in 33rd now.
Yeah, so they've had problems and well off the lead, laps off the lead. Now that's unseen by us, I'm afraid, and can't give you an answer on that at the moment. If I see my mobile phone and wait for... Well, here's...
Who is Dindo Capello driving the number 5 Team Go Audi? Dindo, your car might be 4th or 5th, it depends on the pit stop. How is the situation for you so far?
It was very bad at the beginning because I lost the screen in front, and then was very difficult just to keep my head fixed. I was moving too much, I could not see I could not see in front of me, and I was really looking for what to get in the pit for the first pit stop, and then we fixed the front screen, and in my second stint, I don't know how, probably a piece of rubber, it destroyed my front right dive plane, and then I start to get big understeer, but anyway the car, it seems to be too hard on tire. We destroyed the tire too early. The car is very good just on brand new tire for a few laps, and then we start to get problem with understeer and big wheel spin out of the slow corner.
Dindo, the Silverstone circuit is a fast circuit, but a flat circuit also. Does it change something for you, a flat circuit such as Silverstone?
Yeah, we had a lot of things to try on Thursday, but as you know we just missed the first 1 hour practice because we had water in the fuel, and for us that was very bad because for Seiji was the first time on this racetrack. For me, it's only the second time I come here. The first time was 5 years ago, and we really needed few laps to get used to the track, but unfortunately we could not do it, and now we are trying to do our best, but it looks like our setup is not, I would say, the best for this race.
Thank you very much, Dindo Capello.
So Dindo Capello, that's his teammate Seiji Ihara at the moment in 4th position with still 3 hours and 39 minutes as a smoky RM LMG comes into the pit lane. Seiji Ihara for the team Go, the Japanese Audi concern, in 4th position at the moment. Dindo Capello still unhappy at the way things have been going. Water in the fuel early in the week. They've had setup problems perennially with this car, with all kinds of strange machinations in the pit. And unusual, I have to say, because normally anything with the Go name on it is absolutely immaculately organised and turned out. The Shorrock team, the 77 Porsche, a couple of good results in the first 2 rounds of the Le Mans Endurance Series for them, which is basically a satellite team to Team Go. They've been strangely off their game this year, Marino, and I wonder, they've decamped to be close to Audi Sport at Ingolstadt, and I wonder if that's had some kind of effect on the performance of the guys from Go.
It's very difficult without being inside the team to know what's going on, but something isn't right. Whether, I'm not exactly sure who their engineering team is, but Audi team Velop's really concentrated on that at the start of the year, bringing guys in like Graham Taylor, who a lot of experience, and that's, as I said at Monza, that seems to me what's made the difference. But it's not just the engineering. From the top all the way down, they seem to be struggling to get things transferred from the sort of engineering ideas onto the car to get the correct setup on it. There's little things not being done right simply on the setup patch, and those little things make a huge difference.
There's the Nasamax, Team Nasamax car holding on to 9th position at the moment. They'll be pretty happy with that at the moment. We're looking at just over 3 hours and 30 minutes still to go, and it'll all be live here on Motors TV.
The Le Mans Endurance Series on Motors TV with Yokohama. Endurance Series on Motors TV with Yokohama.
Alan Mcnish is on lap number 106 of a maximum 195 here at Silverstone, and there he is heading off over the top of the rise and down towards this car, which is the P2 leader. In fact, that's Johnny Herbert that's right behind him, and that P2 leader is going very slowly indeed. And is that slightly low on the left rear, Marino Franchitti? That car is not travelling at all at the sort of speeds we've seen it. We've been used to it, and he's got his right indicator on. I think a problem there for the P2 leader.
If he has a long way to get back to the pits because he's just started another lap. It certainly looks to be running high on the right hand side, but the tyre, the right front seems to be a lot higher than the right rear, but the left rear tyre looks fine. I don't know if it's damage to the
he
suspension.
seemed very
or
slow through Beckett's. I mean, I know that he had Herbert bearing down on him, but even given that, and behind him there's another car catching him up, which I think was one of the yellow. I think that might have been the Velta Racing car, which is one of the other P2 cars. No, in fact, it's a Porsche that's catching him up, which is not unheard of, but normally this Courage is a quick car.
In fact, it doesn't actually look like there's anything wrong. It's even a visual thing on the front. Maybe it's a power thing. Nothing looks physically wrong with the car, but...
Well, let's check his lap time as he comes round next time. It's Alexander Frey that's at the wheel of that car in a 9th position overall. 52.7 last time around, which is... we're sort of looking at that and thinking, OK, 52.9 for Bouvet in the 36 car in second place, but some laps back. And there is the second place car, and that's Velta Racing Machine. Now, we just jumped up there because we thought the leader might have been in the pit lane.
Xavier Pompidou into the pits there.
In the number 80 Vodka Kick sponsored machine. The third place car in GT. Second place car in GT, my apologies. Will possibly lose that position actually to Nishizawa in the Shorrock car, as Warren Hughes is closing down on that car. Now only 13 seconds between a TVR and a podium and in the Le Mans Endurance Series. And that'd be some result. We've been talking about that, but keeping our eyes on this second place car, and another huge piece of rubber debris being thrown up from the left front of that Velta Racing. And that car, as I say, some laps off the leader in class. And when I say some, I mean like 6. But we saw at... well, you didn't because you were at the track, but Guy Smith and I saw 6 laps disappear like snow melting in the sunshine for the P2 leader at the Nürburgring.
The P2 leader of that last lap did a 52 again, which is what he did the lap before. Now, whether that's just his pace or whatever, I'm not sure.
Oh, and we've got the G-Force Pilbeam Nissan being assessed a stop-and-go penalty. That car not battling for any of the top places. Indeed, at the moment, sits down in a lowly 33rd position. Although 31, 32 and 33 are all P2 cars. They are all several laps apart, 3 and 4 laps apart. Here's Chris Dyson. Haven't seen him for a little while. He's lapping a little slower than he has of late. Last time around, a little bit of traffic, I think, for Chris. A 42.7 is the slowest lap I think we've seen him put in. Oh, disaster. Just as I was saying that this car was getting back on terms and back up to speed, the second place machine in the GTS category with Michael Bartels at the wheel, the Selene is cruising, and he's cruising a long way away from pit lane.
Down hanger straight, he has a long way to go there. He's just rolling to a stop.
He's dead stick, isn't he? He's got no power from the big V8, and that car, well, he's going to have to get it off the track. He's going to have to get it off the track. He cannot possibly...
It looks like he's parking on the... Oh, is he off the track? No, he's parking on the apex of Stowe.
Yeah, not bright. And at the last minute, he takes it off. And I'm sorry, but he had plenty of time to try and get that car off to one side or the other of the track. And that is not the brightest piece of driving I have seen today.
It's not the best, the most... sort of, or the nicest piece of sportsmanship that I've ever seen. And
look at the 2 marshals in the background, Marino. They've ran up to help him, and there's not a chance that they're going to run to the apex of that corner. I mean, what sort of speeds are cars carrying through there?
Over 100 miles an hour, and the problem is,
safety cars
he's not done himself any favours by parking so far away from the fence, because if the team come to help him and talk him through something, he's miles away from the fence. It's certainly not a good move.
Safety car board is in the hands, I believe, of the... No, it's not. It's a stop-and-go board still for the 35 car, which is going to get a 2-minute stop-and-go. That's the G-Force Racing Machine. And there is...
I think it's Bartels.
It is Bartels in the car.
It's not very nice to your fellow competitors to stick yourself in the apex of a corner, and you don't help yourself if they do eventually get the team over there.
Well, I mean, he's going to have to be dragged away from that under some kind of local yellows, but if the camera was to come back from there, into the pit lane comes the RML Selene, out gets RML MG. That's twice I've done that today, £2 in the swear box.
Laptop though. Never a good sign in the back south.
Turbocharged cars, well, might just be downloading. Yeah, just having a look at what the turbo pressure's running at.
The back's off the car, so something's definitely wrong.
I was trying to, I'm glass half full, guys, with the guys from Wellingborough. They're only a mile. Their factory is 1.2 miles from my house. And there's certain affinity. There's Johnny Herbert chasing in second place still. And the big question is, pace car now, who does it favour? Well, certainly Chris Dyson would be happy to see it come out. 39.5 for Chris the last time around. Fastest man on the circuit. My, that
he's
number
certainly
22
listening
car.
to you.
Yeah, and he's got an opportunity here. He is just a whisker away from getting to a lap back off the lead. And a lap back off the lead at the moment means being on the same lap as second and third. And in fact, he's just done it as he goes across this time. He's confirmed he's 48 seconds behind Ara. And about another minute and 20 behind Herbert, but they are all one lap back from the lead.
He dropped nearly 10 seconds between, 9 seconds between the lap before and that lap, and he must have got some really bad traffic that lap to do that.
Yeah.
The thing with Silverstone is, looking at Johnny Herbert driving there, the tyre degradation of these, even like the prototype, the biggest problem, everyone assumes it'll be the front left tyre because you're leaning on it a lot. But a big problem is getting the power down out of Luffield. And once the tyres start to go, that's a big problem.
And anybody who's wearing rear tyres, or even fronts as well, the slow corners through the complex here. I was talking to Phil Barker at RML earlier on, and he said to me, you've got to understand that, you know, you can be bad in a fast corner and you lose time, but because you're not in a fast corner for very long, you don't lose significant time. You might lose half a tenth. If you're bad in the slow corners and you're getting a huge amount of push and you can't get any power on, or you're getting a huge amount of wheel spin you can't get any power on, you're in the slow corners for a much longer amount of time. Therefore, the problem is actually multiplied, and that's where you start losing maybe a second or 1.7 seconds like we saw in qualifying here. Oh, big puff of smoke there from the 88 Herbert car.
Little lock up there on the way in, really. He's really pushing hard. In vain, I think, unless the Mcnish car has a problem.
Lead GTS car in the pit lane. Well, a safety car coming at the wrong time could... we've seen laps being lost if you just dive in the pits at the wrong time for safety car. Lead GTS car coming in.
Looks like Pedro Lamy getting in the car there for the... Well, I'm guessing what they would hope would be the final stint, or maybe Bushu will be getting back into the car.
85 laps to run, or thereabouts. Still a long way to go.
Still a very long way. It's good to see Johnny still really pushing hard, because he just never gives up. So it's great to see.
He has to, doesn't he? There's no reason why he shouldn't, because you know, we've still got a Grand Prix distance and some round here. A few laps more than a Grand Prix distance still to run. The spectators across from us sitting really comfortably, got the binoculars out watching the pit stops, and one or two people just wandering off to different parts of the circuit.
Just having a look across there to the Alan Mcnish fan club. It's
still there.
Wave Kelly's over there, Ken and Kerry are there with the flags. It was nice at the Nürburgring having the Sol tyres while we were up on the podium. Something you don't see very often.
Well, a fairly routine looking pit stop, as in comes the lead P2 car as well. And he looked like he was coming in quite normally, so my worries of his slow pace, perhaps either just a slight mistake by the driver before we picked him up on the screen or something like that, because the cars continued to lap. Alexander Frey lapping in the 50s, 52s or thereabouts, 2 or 3 last time around, but that's his in lap, so that's nothing too much to worry about.
I would be interested to see the Celine again, the Conrad car, to see what they've done. I mean, the British marshals are obviously fantastic.
Fair play to them if they've gone out there and moved that.
They're fantastic, and if they've done that, then, as you say, fair play.
In comes the Chris Dyson car from 4th position. He's got within 55 seconds of a podium position, which is pretty good going, and he stops on lap 111, which means 2 more stops, I reckon, at least for him. 30 laps or thereabouts, so at least 2 more stops for those cars. The 35 cars, by the way, still hasn't answered, and there's the confirmation. Still hasn't answered. It's stopped.
4 laps there, he's saying.
Yeah,
which means he'll
DQ.
todder off and he'll say, "Stop scoring them, please."
Yep. And so we will see that car disappear, or at least stop being added its laps. And meantime, the Audis, the two UK Audis, continue at the front of the field. The battle at the moment is in GT, and it's in for third place in GT, just inside the top 20. GT leader there, just ahead of Johnny Herbert. You'll catch a glimpse of the black car, and there it is, right on cue. But the battle is just now down to 8 seconds. Warren Hughes taking 3 seconds plus a lap out of Nishizawa in the Porsche in a TVR. That is quite extraordinary. I mean, no apologies for talking about it, even though Hughesy's a mate of mine, but that TVR has really been unsung this weekend, and I know we're not watching pictures of it, but I've got to say, Johnny Kane and Alan Mcnish and the Chamberlain Synergy guys who had to put that car back together have done really done a fantastic job. Welcome back to Silverstone as we enter the closing stages of round 3 of the Le Mans Endurance Series for 2004. And I greet you with the news that Alan Mcnish continues to lead, and Johnny Herbert has just come in along pit lane with fully 39 laps still to go. Now, the furthest anyone's got on a tank of fuel, even in the fuel-efficient Audis, is 32 laps. In the stint. So by my recognition, well, here's Dr. Ulrich. Let's have a find out and see what's happening.
How the Velox are on the good way for a new success.
At the race, it's very high. We've been a little bit concerned yesterday after the qualifying, but at the end, the race speed that our cars can go is very constant, and I think one of the big points is that we have in both cars, let's say in all 3 cars, drivers that are on the same level. So this is something that's very important for endurance racing.
Can you say so far something for 2005, or is it too early about a new project, a new program, the future of the Audi R8?
Yeah, for the program of 2005 it's for sure too early, but there is a clear decision that Audi will stick to the endurance sport.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ulrich.
And the crowd go wild, I think, after that. That's all we want to know, Dr. Ulrich. Don't care what you're racing, so long as you want to stay with us in endurance racing. The point I was about to make, Marino, was that Herbert's come in with 39 laps still to run to the flag, presuming, as I am, that we are going to go to a full 195 as... Oh, that's the leader in the GTS category. Number 86 has just been called in for a stop and go, and...
1 minute.
A full minute as well, and also the number 61 car, which is in fact the 4th place car. Well, David Leslie will be jumping up and down in joy for that, because that'll keep him off his back bumper. He's pulled out a lap in 20 seconds.
It's quite disconcerting how happy the officials look while putting those boards out. I don't like that as a driver.
Let me go back to the thought on the Audis, mate. There's Mcnish going around, shows no sign of coming into the pits just yet.
I'm still whacking in some really good times, but Capello's done 39.4 that last lap, which is very fast.
Dindo's got 2nd place now, and as I say, Herbert is going to have to stop again before the end. I can't believe they can lean that car out so much that he can go all the way at the end. Or is that the absolute last throw of the dice for them, that they've brought him in and they've said, right, run round now and try and get to the end and save a pit stop? Even then, he's not going to make up a lap, is he?
No.
And he could throw away 2nd place.
He really could. The thing is, Capello's going to give them a battle now, but 38.7 by Capello, which is his fastest lap of the race.
Dindo on it, big style at the moment. Not seeing that, watching Mcnish at the moment, but behind him the battle for 2nd is really hotting up. Johnny Herbert's made what we believe cannot possibly be his final pit stop. I think he owes us one more. I really do.
It depends when Dindo's going to come in.
Well, if Dindo can stretch it out another 3 laps or 4 laps, certainly, then he's probably only going to do one more. You know what's killed Johnny's race here is having to come in those couple or 3 laps early to change the nose, because that's the only difference that we've seen between these cars.
Yep, that's the problem when the cars are all so competitive. Any little problem and you know that your day's really done unless the car that's in front of you has a problem.
What an advantage this would be for Alan Mcnish and Pierre Caffer, as in comes the 61 car, as predicted. John Bosch, 4th position in GTS for a minute. And we're waiting to see the leader, Pedro Lamy, come in as well. And he does not want to be messing about with the officials here because he's leading by a couple of laps. There he is. He's been sorry, that's the 62 car, that's the second Baron Connor car, making the same mistake as the director there. Ooh, a couple of big black lines being laid on the track. By the way, I'm sure that was Amanda who's just texted me. The purple TVR is back on the track and travelling very quickly, but it's dropped down to 7th place, so I'm afraid a podium position for that TVR, even despite the fact that Johnny Kane's turning in some of the fastest laps we're seeing in GT at the moment. I'm afraid I think that's disappeared. Going back to the chain of thought of the number 62 car, that is the second place car. We want to see the 86 car come in for its stop-go. Its number is still being held out over the pit wall, and this will be the third time of asking this time around. He's got a couple of laps in hand there, Marino, but he doesn't really want to be messing about with the officials because they'll either extend his time penalty in the pit penalty box or they'll just stop scoring him.
It's always something that can happen. But
how do you feel as a driver when you see your number out there? Do you immediately think...
You start screaming on the radio that
what's
it's a
it
load
for?
of beep and lots of other expletives that you can certainly never put on the TV. Yeah, you're always very frustrated about it, and it's most of the time there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to come in. Touch wood, I haven't had many stop and goes in my time, but it's just really frustrating, especially if you're in a tight situation with another car for a position.
Well, we're still waiting for that leader in the GTS to serve its penalty. He's just gone by and across the line now, and the officials have said, there you go, that's 3 times we've hung his number out. And Mcnish
it's
now
like the
on
police getting you with a radar gun.
What, it's cheating?
No, just the look on their faces, they put this stuff out. It's like, haha, don't you know.
In comes Robbie Kerr, and his time's not great, not as certainly as quick as he was in his opening stint. The car a lot tireder now, of course, and the track a lot different. But I would have thought he would have been able to at least match Mcnish's time. He's just put in a 39.1 as in comes the leader in GTS and sits now. This is the leader in GTS. Will have to sit for a minute, which is going to feel like an hour inside that car.
It feels so long. And you're always worried about, I'm sitting here, is it going to start up again? Especially if you're in the lead, you're thinking, come on, please start up. Also, you're pulling away with hot tyres. He's got it away okay, a lot of experience, but John Bosch, who's below us, stalled twice because when you have hot tyres, they don't spin the same as obviously when you leave the pits with cold tyres.
Yeah, Pedro Lamy not making that mistake in the 86 Labra car. There is the 22 car.
A lot of grass.
Ooh, he's been off. He has been off, definitely. In fact, that collects grass better than my Flymo does, which just tends to bloat all over the patio in the back garden. And, well, 160, he'd have to do 35 laps from now to get to the finish. Possibly doable. Mcnish looking in great shape at the minute, still hasn't made his next pit stop, and that really means that within another 2 laps, he's possibly on the outer edges of getting to the end.
Yeah, he certainly is. I'm looking at the JWR car here. I'm quite surprised that they've put that car back out. I mean, obviously they're moving up the leaderboard, but not to the point where they're going to get a fantastic result. And they're risking the car that they're going to use tomorrow in the British GT races.
12th in GT for that car. Problems early on with the clutch. If you weren't with us here on Motors TV, Johnny Molan very disappointed. Thought they had a good chance of racing for 4th or 5th position, and with the demise of a couple of the...
He's been into the gravel at Maggots, is what we're hearing.
With the demise of a couple of the more fancy Porsche runners, that could have easily been a podium today for that car, but it wasn't to be. Disaster striking relatively early on for the JWR equipe. In the meantime,
Dindo Capello has put in a 39.4. He just keeps rattling off the fast laps.
He's been under 1 minute 40 consistently for the last 4 or 5 laps, which means that he's got, as Mcnish comes in now, 161 just as he's gone across the line. That is 34 laps he's got to do.
They're so far in the lead that they're not even, it's not even really something they're going to worry about. They're just going to come back in a little later and fuel it up and
10 laps to go.
Just quick dash of fuel and off they go.
Now, the big question is now, what about Dindo Capello? Because if Dindo Capello can stretch 1 or 2 laps more, he could well be fueled to the finish. And Johnny, remember, stopped 4 laps ago now. He stopped with 39 still to go. Here's the 71 car coming in underneath us as well. You might just catch a glimpse of that. No, there's the man that we're interested in, because Dindo Capello now, the lead and the win, unless anything befalls Alan Mcnish and Pierre Caffer's car, is in the pits. This is going to be tight. This is lap 161, for end of lap 161 for him. Nobody's gone more than 33 laps on the stint so far as I can remember.
I don't think they'll try and make it, but the stop at the end will be shorter than Johnny's stop, and there'll be all kinds of calculations going into it. So this one's still got a way to go.
Well, we'll wait to see. Where is Johnny? Has he gone through? I'm watching out the window. Haven't seen him yet. It could be that if they can get him out very quickly, and with Johnny's problems.
I think he's actually been passed over.
Yeah, I think he might be right, actually, and he's given that up. This is a long stop. They'll be wanting every single last drop of that racing fuel into the tank. There's no thought of putting tyres on at this stage. Dindo Capello gets the thumbs up and goes, spins the Michelins out. Good stop, and he's going to get up the speed now. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. He might have to do 34 laps, 8 and 71 with contact. Well, there's a story straight away, because that's Alan Mcnish, who's had contact with the JWR car that we just saw going out the pits. Let's get down
with John Bosch of Baron Connor Racing. John, that race is a good race for your 2 cars. The 61 is 4th of the LMGTS class, and the number 62 is in top 3.
Yes, we have 2 cars running very well. We just had a setback because we had a stop and go because speeding in the pit lane. It was because the motor is not broke, so it was very difficult to see the speed. So.
John, you have on your car an aerodynamic version different from the sister cars. This is a new aerodynamic packaging.
Yeah, we have a new under tray. We had some modification, and we had the modification in the front splitter. Also, the lightweight bodywork arrived, which gives us a little bit of help for the weight of the car. And the performance till today, I think it's improving, but we need improving more.
Yes, so that was my question. From now to Spa, what will you do on the car? How can you progress it?
We had some updates regarding the front suspension. We tried to find the time in Magny-Cours to test it. To be prepared very well for Spa.
John Bosch, thank you very much.
John Bosch there, very, very happy indeed. His car's in 2nd and 4th position in the GTS category at the moment. Alan Mcnish is the man of the moment here at Silverstone. As he goes across the line this time, he has completed 184 of 195 laps to get the 1,000 kilometres of this 3rd round of the Le Mans Endurance Series. And there is the tail of the tape. He's got 2 laps in hand over Dindo Capello, who is consolidating his position. Don't panic if we see this car, or indeed the sister car with Johnny Herbert at the wheel, in the pit lane. We expected this to be a 6-stop race for both of the Velox cars. Johnny Herbert slightly out of kilter with the rest because he came in a little bit early to change a nose which came unfastened on the right front of his number 88 car. No such problems for Alan Mcnish and Pierre Caffer, who have driven very well indeed. The car looking in pretty good shape considering the amount of rubbish that's out on the circuit. Just putting a lap there on the TVR, which got all the way up into 3rd position, and we were getting excited about a potential podium finish for TVR. Well, they've fought their way back into
6th in class,
at the moment. I don't think Johnny's got a chance of taking Stefano Ortelli ahead of him, who's lapping a bit quicker. There's a lap between them, but the TVR has come of age this weekend. Alan Mcnish has done what Alan Mcnish does. He was a bit nonplussed about qualifying, certainly the first qualifying session, which saw him languishing down outside the top 3 or 4. I think he was in 5th or 6th position, and that's not where Mcnish likes to be, not where Audi expected to be. A 2nd 1.7 seconds in arrears of the Zytek, but they've fought back this weekend as only the Velox Audi Sport UK guys can, and they've come good with what looks to be a 1-3. Here's the GTS leader, and that one again has been a tale of the unreliable nature of, sadly, of the Celine. Don't know what caused its demise out at Cobb's Corner, but I would guess again it's probably a recurrence of either transmission or drive, maybe even run out of fuel.
The way he was kind of weaving about, and it was very reminiscent of Spa at the 24 hours when they went out with a fuel pickup problem, so perhaps lightning striking twice in the same place.
Christophe Boucher at the wheel of the Labre competition car. Jacques Leconte and his Labre team, hugely experienced and have really taken to running this Ferrari very well indeed. No doubt in my mind that this is still a very, very competitive car in the right hands, that it would still take the fight to the all-conquering Corvettes in America. Le Mans champions, of course, this year. It hurt Corvette when they didn't win the GTS crown last year in their 50th anniversary year of the Corvette. But this car has consistently, particularly in the longer races, outperformed the 575s, and notwithstanding the new aero kit on the number 61 Baron Conner car this weekend, the Evolution, which certainly has made a difference, Marino, it still just hasn't got the outright speed of that car. And here we're going to have two Ferrari victories in the classes, because touch wood for Stefan Doody, lovely lad, and he's done very well indeed this weekend, sharing as he is with Roman Rusinov, who did his part in the middle, and Roman was the man who turned in those laps when others around him were falling off and having problems, and turned in some very impressive laps and very competitive laps. The car in its black livery, the GMB car, fighting its way to the head of the field after an indifferent first hour and a half or 2 hours, and since then has been untouched in the GT category. The battle behind between Xavier Pompidou and Patrick Long continues. Seconds being traded at the moment, and Patrick Long on the best side of that in third place, but Pompidou with still the better part of a lap between himself and third position.
GT battles obviously very interesting. I thought Pat was on the same lap as Pompidou, but he's actually a lap behind, so looks like a great result in the offing for the Seba guys.
2 second places in a row.
Very impressive.
They would have taken that with that car, and
if
again,
they can finish in this position, they'll take the lead of the championship overall, I believe.
There is the P2 leader. Well, just the red car that you saw before that. The P2 leader in this race is the Courage competition machine. There it is. It's about to come and put a lap on the car which holds the P2 championship lead, which is the PIR car, the 99 car ahead, which we seem to have been talking more about problems than anything else. However, it always seems to be there at the end, and it's scored consistently. But today, really, that Courage, we haven't seen a battle between it and anybody, because, Marino, it's been so consistent, and it's run there without the problems. And once the Paul Belmondo car went out, there was really nothing to challenge it.
No, certainly not. And I think it kind of makes up for Nürburgring a little bit, where I mean, I was in the race, so it was difficult to keep up, but when Gounon was in the car, he looked fantastic and was doing a really good job, so hopefully that's a bit of payback for him and the rest of the team for not winning the race last time out.
And there is one of the success stories of the race, perhaps not the result they'd hoped for. I thought they might split the Audis at worst, and at best maybe a win was on the cards before I'd even seen the car turn a wheel this weekend. Hearing reports from Marino, who was at the test at Snetterton, and 1 or 2 other people who were there on Thursday of last week, I did think this car was in with a real chance. Certainly proved its pace with this man at the wheel, Robbie Kerr, Formula 3. Well, I was going to say refugee, that's not fair. Formula 3 driver who was taking the sports car racing like a duck to water.
Formula 3 champion.
Yeah, absolutely, Formula 3 champion, who has made the jump into sports cars. He's chasing down this man, and in fact he's already pulled 1 lap back on him, but there's not enough time now surely to get back on the same lap. He's got 1 minute and 7 seconds and a whole lap to make up on Johnny Herbert, and to be able to do that in 7 laps is a very tall order, unless Johnny hits problems. However, says Hindhoff, he has still got a pit stop. No, Herbert's been in, and that's why the lap's changed. I'm just looking now. Herbert has made 6 stops, so he's done his last lap, unnoticed by us. I didn't see him come down along the pit lane, but that's definitely changed. So Capello and Mcnish still the only 2 cars that have, in the P1s, have only done 5 pit stops, and we were told by IDA UK to expect 6. So Herbert should be fueled to the end now.
It could be close still between Capello and Herbert.
If he has
the
to
stop, doesn't.
It's 40 seconds at the moment. Herbert can't have come in and stopped.
He did.
Well done. It must have been a real splash and go then. Just in and out. Only lost about 20 seconds, less than 20 seconds coming in along pit lane. Well, it's possible. Possible. There
Probably hasn't been off or had a problem. We've just missed it.
It's that is Dindo Capello, who was a very unhappy bunny early on in the race. Not, as we said earlier on, the best of starts of the weekend when you find water in your fuel. It's just a nasty way to start the third championship weekend.
Le Mans Endurance Series, we don't have a lot of track time before the race, and that really hurt him and Ara. Really hurt them.
Robbie Kerr just puts in a 38.6. Stunning stuff from the young man who is pedaling that 22 car very, very well indeed. And in fact, he's coming up on Dindo Capello at the moment. This is not for position. Don't get too excited, but it will be interesting to see Dindo's reaction to seeing the black car hoving into view. There it is. That's the gap. Not for position, let me remind you, but the relative performance of these 2 cars under scrutiny by, I'm sure, not only Dr. Ulrich, David Ingram, Sam Lee and the rest of the guys, not only the Team Go aficionados down in pit lane, but also a lot of teams up and down pit lane who will be saying, hello, this Zytek's got a bit of something to it. And with the right drivers, the right competitive drivers, it certainly has taken this weekend, opened the eyes of many people, I would think, this weekend, Marino, to the potential of this car if it's in the right hands. But Dindo Capello at the moment holding on to second place. I can't imagine he's going to try and hold Robbie Kerr back too much. He won't want to be banging wheels with anybody at this stage of the game as we wait for Alan Mcnish to come round and start his 191st of 195. Dindo Capello goes through, still a lap and 51 seconds between himself and Alan Mcnish. We'll be back for the conclusion of this in just a few moments' time. Silverstone, the Le Mans Endurance Series Round 3, 1,000 kilometres all but over. 192 laps at the moment for Alan Mcnish as he comes round this time out of 195. The evening drawing in, by no means at dark, but it is dusk, and there's something always very exciting about seeing sports cars racing into the evening time. That is the 4th place car of Robbie Kerr, pole position man, blitzed the Audis in qualifying. He's going to unlap himself once again from Johnny Herbert, but he's just been in for a splash and go, so there's still going to be a lap between them as they come round. Johnny Herbert struggling with a car that really hasn't been on song for the last hour or so, Marino Franchitti.
Yeah, he certainly seems to, since his last splash of fuel, and maybe even a little bit before that, lost pace somewhere in a couple of seconds, but it's been enough to allow Dindo to pass him and pull out an advantage.
The only hint of a battle at the moment is between 2nd and 3rd in GT, where Xavier Pompidou in the Seba Racing number 80 Porsche is just 42 seconds ahead of the number 81 Fernbacher Racing of Patrick Long. Those guys both on the same lap now after Pompidou's just been in and out again for a splash and go. At the head of the field, Mcnish has a lap and 47 seconds between himself and Dindo Capello. Dindo has got a lap in hand as well on Johnny Herbert in second, so it looks like the best result of the season as in comes Johnny Herbert again. Now, I thought...
Yeah, we've missed something somewhere here, but...
That is his 7th stop, and we thought it was only going to be a 6-stop race. I really do think that, oh, well, it's tyres. There's tyres going on. He must feel
that
that
car must be terrible if he's putting tyres on at this stage
2 laps
of the race.
to go.
Unless maybe they have a puncture and it's been going down slowly.
Yeah, well, Jamie said that they'd had that problem earlier on, and maybe they sensor didn't pick it up. They found in the first stint. Now, he gets out, but that gives Robbie Kerr a little bit of hope. With only a couple of laps left, he's just unlapped himself once. If that doesn't cure his problem, if he's got something greater than that, well, we'll have to see. But Robbie Kerr should be getting the go, go, go signs now from the boys down in the Zytec pit. That's the man who could potentially benefit from that last-minute stop, as in comes Martin Short in the roll centre car out of your sight. The big question is, Alan Mcnish, is he going to stop again for fuel? He's got 3 laps to go. We were told it was a six-stop race, and only he and Dindo Capello have made 5 out of the top runners. Johnny Herbert and Robbie Kerr have made 7 now, albeit slightly off kilter from everyone else because of various problems. Remember Robbie Kerr coming in after that contact with the Lister and getting the front end of the car checked. That was an early stop for him. Johnny Herbert having to come in with loose front bodywork, just maybe 3 or 4 laps earlier than he wanted to, but that compromised his charge in the middle of the race. That's the Team Jota car with John Stack in 6th position, behind the Nazamax car, by the way, on the road, as through comes Alan Mcnish and starts his 194th lap. He's not going to pit now. There's no way he's going to pit now. He's going to ease off, lean down the map. The boys at...
he's still rolling off 141, so...
He's hardly taking it easy, is he? So the guys at Audi were telling Graham Tyler, who's been doing a little bit of information gathering for us, a porky or two, unless they've just given Al, over the last half an hour, the slow off and conserve fuel message, which these Audis are very, very good at. But I just don't want to see him try and eke it slightly too far. There's no real need to. He's got 2 laps in race, unless they just don't want to risk stopping the car again, which of course is always the excitement of a sports car pit stop, whether it will fire again.
That's Dindo in the pits.
Dindo. This is going to have to be a very, very quick stop indeed. They're looking around the back of the car. Go on, Dindo, get it going, son. And the Go team are still looking for that 2nd place. Now, where's Johnny Herbert? Oh, and there's the MG going very slowly alongside the pit wall, as there's all kinds of action going along in the pit lane. The flags are out, or should be out, on the start-finish line, and they aren't at the moment, as we've got the MG going very, very slowly.
I'm sure Alan will be in this lap.
Ramos in 8th position. That would be a disaster for that car if it doesn't make it back around for the end.
Oh,
and there's a fire in the MG. Fire at the back of Miguel Ramos's. That is such bad luck, with literally the checkered flag in sight. They've been inside the top 10 all day. If he can get that car back around or get some help, surely Phil Barker will be telling him on the radio now that he's got a slight turbo fire at the back of that car, the 2-litre turbocharged engine.
If he goes fast enough, it will just keep burning away like that, like the Dyson car did at Sebring.
Just an oil fire. I'm saying just an oil fire. Here comes Alan Mcnish. He is about to start his last lap when he comes round this time, and no sign of him coming into the pit lane. So this has been a masterful display of speed and economy by the Audi R8 and by Alan Mcnish in this last run. He's made liars out of his own team and everybody else when they said it would be a 6-stop race. He not only wins the race, but he does it on a pit stop less than everybody else. As he comes around this time, he's completed 194, so in fact this is his last lap. Timing and scoring is a little bit slow to catch up with us there. And now surely nothing, as he comes out of store rather, and down the Vale, nothing can stop Alan Mcnish and Pierre Caffer from...
Something can always stop you.
Well, unless someone digs a hole in front of him and he falls into it at the moment, he could virtually, once he gets over the top of that rise, kick out the clutch and coast home. If you could do that in an R8, which I'm sure you can't. He's got a lap's grace and, well, the best part of 2 laps grace. He's Mcnish. The team are on the wall, coming round the last couple of corners here at Silverstone. It's 3 wins out of 3 for Audi and 2 out of 3 for Alan Mcnish and Pierre Caffer. The purple reign continues here at Silverstone. No one has beaten these guys in the Le Mans Endurance Series, and he coasts across the line. Will he have enough even to get back round in the tank? He'll be on full lean now, locks it up in front of the team. That is a superb drive from Alan Mcnish. Through, we're waiting for Capello or Herbert to come through in 2nd and 3rd, as the checkered flag is held aloft. Alan Mcnish going out into the countryside. Points leader coming into this race behind him there for the P2 category, the little red PIR machine, also finishing the race. This is Johnny Herbert. Nasamax has gone through in 5th place for Robbie Sterling, and fair play to them. There goes Johnny Herbert, confirmed in 3rd position. And there's another car going slowly at the end. That's the WR with what looked like a brake fire at the front of his car, at least glowing brakes as he locked them up in front of his team. A lot of people diving towards the pit wall. Here comes the 2nd place, the best result of the season for the Go Audi. And this is a return to form for all these guys, and there will be no one happier than Dindo Capello, and Tom Christensen, wherever he's watching this, will be having a little smile for Dindo and his teammates who he joined in the first round of the series and at Le Mans, and who took him to victory, his 6th victory at Le Mans 24 hours as they come across the line, a lap and 1 minute 13. There goes the GTS winner. The headlights there are of the Labra competition car. Christophe Bouchou takes the line. Andrea Pacini will come in 2nd in GTS. And in 3rd place, Phil Wright takes another podium for Graham Nash. What a great, great run for those guys. We haven't talked about GT, but they are all across the line. And Stefan Dudi will win it for Ferrari, for JMB, and for Roman Rusinov, his teammate. In 2nd place, Xavier Pompidou in the Seba car that he's sharing with Piers Maserati. Good job, both of you guys, this weekend. Patrick Long, 40 seconds in arrears at the end in the 3rd place GT car. And Sam Hancock brings the P2 winner in home, the number 13. That's the red Courage car here at Silverstone. Well, Delight on the pit wall, the man in the middle there, the man who has driven this program around the world for Audi. He came to Le Mans some 5-6 years ago, had a look at it and realized that the 4 rings of Audi needed to be represented at the 24 hours of Le Mans. The man who has said the reason we do endurance racing is because we have a whole season of racing in one race at Le Mans. And he's committed today, live on Motors TV, that endurance racing is Audi's future. Regardless of what car that is with, he is committed that they will be back doing it next year in some way, shape or form. In come the leading cars. Down into Parc Fermé. I spotted an old friend out on the pit lane there. Alan Hodge from Jaguar Cars is enjoying the atmosphere. And, well, with Aston Martin perhaps waiting in the wings, wouldn't it be great to see a GTS GT or even a prototype car powered by one of the new engines that Ford or Jaguar have in their arsenal at the moment. A lot of very, very happy drivers, Marino Franchitti, and a lot of hard work has gone down to the wire today.
Yeah, it was a very warm day, very humid, so it's been hard on the drivers. A lot of tyre degradation, which keeps the drivers working hard, and they've all done a fantastic job.
We saw the same sort of striding manoeuvre from Wolfgang Ulrich at the last race at the Nürburgring. He's come straight up the pit lane. He's congratulating the Team Go Boys for their 2nd position in front of us. There's Stefan Dudi, who's bringing home the winning GT car. That's a great run for those guys. So many great stories today that really it would take us almost the whole 6 hours over again to actually tell them. I said 5.5 hours and I was a bit out. It was 5 hours and 35 minutes. So not bad. And the full 195 laps, 1000 Ks. And a word too for Johnny Kane and Warren Hughes coming 6th in the GT category. The best result for TVR, certainly the best performance that we've seen from Team. Who is that spinning them up in the Parc Fermé? Marvellous stuff.
They don't like that.
No, I think that could well be a bit of a fine there for one of the Porsche drivers. Here's Dindo Capello, and his hand is up. Behind him, Robbie Kerr. I somehow think that's not the last time we're going to see Robbie Kerr in a sports car, Marino Franchitti.
He certainly should give it another go, because he did a fantastic job today. Just one little block.
Pierre Caffer, lots of emotion, I imagine. It was very important here to be winner.
Yes, it's really nice to win here again. I mean, for me, like this, it's the 2nd home Grand Prix, and we did it, and I'm so happy for Alan that he won his home Grand Prix as well, and thanks for the team, thanks for the effort, and thanks for Audi. And my engineer, he made a brilliant car for the race.
You also had to score more points than the sister car for the championship.
I don't know yet in the moment. I think we must leading the championship, and this is a good thing for the mind to go to the last race and be leader.
Pierre Caffer, thank you very much.
Pierre Caffer then, what a psychological advantage for Pierre there. He was doing his stint earlier on in the number 8 car. What a psychological advantage going into Spa, knowing that even if your teammates win and you come second, you can't lose the championship.
It's a huge psychological advantage, but it's a challenge that I'm sure Johnny and Jamie Davies will rise to, and it'll be a great battle.
Back down for some more reaction in the pit lane. Seggiara stands waiting for Bruno.
Last final stint. Yeah, I'm very excited to finish second race.
Next rendezvous is Spa, and you were winner at Spa last year.
Yeah, I want to win next Spa. Yeah, we try, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Best result of the year so far for Go, and certainly the car looking more composed towards the end of that race than we've seen it at any stage during the season so far, and perhaps this could be the turning point of Team Go's season. Of course, they got the big one under their belt, didn't they?
They did the one that matters more than any, but they'll have a huge amount of confidence as well going into Spa. It'd be great to see the 3 Audis and all the Zytecs and DBAs battling it around Spa.
Can't wait, can't wait. You'll see it live on Motors TV, of course, and more sports car racing before then. Next weekend from Road America, 4.022 miles of torturous tarmac. It's an absolutely wonderful track, and the American Le Mans Series will be there next weekend. More great sports car racing, and seeing it live here on Motors TV. Some images from earlier on in the day, problems early on for one or two teams. Let's get back and take some more reaction from Bruno down in along pit lane. No, can't quite rejoin. Pit reporter at the moment, but we'll get down to him at the moment. The podium ceremony is only moments away. The Silverstone organisation, always top notch. In fact, just to my right, I can actually already see that the people who are required are on the podium. It's just, in fact, a short wait for the TV cameras to get up there. Johnny Herbert, not his day today. Still have to find out how he lost all that time. Obviously, there was some kind of problem either leaving the circuit. Let's get back down into the excitement underneath the podium. And I'm saying that hopefully, but in true Radio Le Mans fashion, every time I say that. Here's the man.
Alan, congratulations. It was very important here to win.
Now, obviously, being British, it's important to win at home in the UK, but also for the team as well. They're only based 10 kilometres from Silverstone Circuit. Audi UK are based here, and so I think for everybody it was very, very special.
Has this race been more difficult than the two others before?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. The pressure obviously was quite high here. The weather was helpful because it was only dry and not wet and dry like Nürburgring and Monza. But the last few hours were quite physical because Silverstone's a hard track. So I was pleased to see the checkered flag and in first position.
And Mcnish, congratulations. Thank you.
He's a happy little Mcnish, isn't he? No doubt about that. And we're going to get the podium ceremonies in just a few moments' time. Perhaps a chance to...
No. Johnny, please. Wait, Johnny. Okay.
Johnny Herbert is there. I think we might get a chance to speak to him. Desperately trying to get this underway. There
Johnny's smiling, but Johnny is third today.
Yeah, yeah, terrible today. Nothing seemed to go right. The car was bad, and we just didn't have the speed. And then I'm not quite sure why we did a pit stop right near the end. I'm a little confused on that one, but we got Spa. Got to live to another day, basically.
Thank you very much, Johnny.
The weather might have stayed dry, but Johnny making sure some of his teammates got work there with the contents of his water bottle. Just didn't quite work for them today. There's the front end of the car that caused them some problems earlier on, and really, from that point on, Pierre Caffer gets a...
He's always doing stuff like that. He gets you in no end of trouble.
the Le Mans Endurance Series on